Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We're here to dig into some pretty surprising insights today.
That's right.
Our source material is really unique this time. It's a live vision session from, wow, just a few days ago, July 9th, 2025.
And for anyone maybe not familiar, a vision session here, it's like a focused attempt to get information intuitively, kind of like directed foresight.
Exactly. So our mission is to unpack what came out of this. We're looking at environmental stuff in Poland, global economy forecasts, the whole AI explosion, and even some, well, pretty deep philosophical ideas about reality itself.
Yeah, the idea is to take this, unconventional information and see what key bits stand out. It really encourages you, the listener, to think critically about the future it sort of lays out.
Okay, let's start with things that seem to have, well, happened already. Predictions that look like they've matched up pretty closely.
Uh-huh.
Remember all the news about Poland's rivers? This great rainy Armageddon, huge floods predicted.
Oh, yeah, it was everywhere.
But this source said something different. It predicted no serious flooding, even though everyone was worried. Said the rain would be 3 waves, strongest already gone, the rest weaker, more localized.
And looking back, that seems to be pretty much how it played out, right?
Yeah.
Despite all the alarm bells.
It really does.
But the really crucial part about those rains, maybe more than just avoiding a disaster, was how badly they were needed.
Ah, right.
They were called salvational for Poland's main rivers.
Mm-hmm.
So while some feared floods, the bigger picture was a massive water shortage.
That perspective is key.
Yeah, I mean, get this, the Vistula River, its water level hit a record low, just 13 centimeters at the Warsaw Bulwary Station.
13 centimeters, that's basically nothing.
It indicates the river is, well, periodically dying. And the Odra River was apparently very low, too. So the rains, chaotic as they felt, were essential.
Okay, moving on. That aviation incident prediction. The source mentions seeing a plane catastrophe beforehand. Something about a name starting with D.
Yes, exactly. A D name. White and blue colors. Located somewhere far away in America. Pretty specific.
And did that connect to anything?
It did. It lined up with a Delta Airlines flight.
Yeah.
Atlanta to Florida.
Delta, okay. What happened?
An emergency landing. There was smoke in the cabin. Turned out to be a battery fire in the luggage hold. Probably, someone's gadget.
Wow.
And the crucial thing is, nearly 200 people were saved because they landed so quickly. So it matches the vision, but maybe as a catastrophe averted.
Averted. That's an interesting angle. Like a warning, maybe?
Could be. It raises questions about whether these things are set in stone or if there's room to act.
Speaking of warnings, there was also something about Germany. Unrest or an attack specifically mentioning Essen.
Yes, and again, a very recent confirmation. On July 9th, the same day as the session, German police announced they'd stopped a terrorist attack.
No way, on the same day.
Exactly. They arrested a 27-year-old man from Bosnia, suspected of financing terror plans. Raids happened in Essen and Dortmund.
Essen again.
Right. And the reports mentioned he had military training, suggesting, it could have been a pretty serious threat they stopped.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, so we've seen these short-term things lining up quite remarkably. Let's shift gears now to the bigger picture stuff the source talked about. The global economy, AI, things that feel a bit further out, maybe.
Right. The source paints a picture of a pretty major economic crash coming. It specifically mentions it affecting Western countries and America primarily.
Not just a small downturn.
No, described as significant enough that lots of people, even middle and upper classes, could lose capital. A real shakeup.
So is there a sign we should watch for, according to this, like a canary in the coal mine?
Yes. Problems with cash liquidity at banks, including Poland.
Meaning?
Difficulty getting money out, especially larger amounts.
Exactly.
Not that you can't get any cash, but facing delays, maybe weeks, for bigger sums. And this becoming a widely talked about issue, maybe even causing some panic.
Okay, wow. And why would this happen? Just a market cycle or something else?
Well, the source frames it interestingly, not just as, an economic reset for ordinary people, but as a kind of financial war.
A war? Between who?
Between the U.S. and Europe on one side, and Asia, specifically China, and the BRICS countries on the other.
BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's presented as this big geopolitical economic clash, not just market forces doing their thing.
Okay, that's a heavy backdrop. And how does AI fit into this picture?
Well, the prediction is that AI taking over jobs isn't going to happen just gradually. It's going to accelerate after this economic crash.
So the crash kind of clears the way for it.
That seems to be the implication.
Yeah.
Like the financial disruption creates the conditions for really rapid AI adoption in the workplace.
That's a bit unsettling. What about us, humans, in all this?
It's interesting. The source talks about AI's analytical power, maybe even bordering on predicting things. But crucially, it stresses that human intuition, psychic abilities, they remain important.
Why's that?
Because they involve the human psyche, the ego, things AI supposedly can't replicate. So the idea is maybe our unique human insights become even more valuable.
But the timeline for AI replacing jobs, it sounds fast.
Very fast. The source suggests just 2 to 6 years for a significant impact on the job market.
2 to 6 years.
Yeah, potentially replacing professions like lawyers, doctors, judges, even architects. That kind of time scale is pretty radical.
It really is. Okay, let's push even further out now. The source apparently touched on some really long-term societal changes, even philosophical stuff.
It did. Some quite mind-bending concepts, actually. Like the idea of cities by 2050 becoming private.
Private cities? What does that even mean?
Owned and managed by big global corporations, businesses, not politicians. Lublin was given as a specific example of a city that could end up privately owned.
So corporations running cities instead of elected governments.
Essentially. It really makes you think about what citizenship means then, doesn't it? When your city services are run for profit.
And it wasn't just cities, right? There was a broader idea about who governs.
Yeah, the prediction that massive corporations, not politicians, will ultimately run the world sort of follows logically, I guess. But what does that mean for, democracy, nations?
Big questions. And what about people's experience in that kind of future?
This is where it gets maybe a bit disturbing. The vision was of people becoming very submissive, influenced cybernetically.
Cybernetically. Like mind control.
Kind of. Being fed artificial euphoria, artificial joy, artificial contentment. So people seem happy, but it's induced manufactured happiness.
That sounds incredibly dystopian, like Brave New World territory.
It does have that feel. It's
Yeah.
not just propaganda. It's manipulating emotions directly.
And it didn't stop there, did it? Something about cybernetic bodies.
Right, the idea of cybernetic humans, where our physical bodies become less important, and maybe souls start inhabiting these perfected cybernetic forms.
So like uploading consciousness, or souls moving into robots.
The phrasing was souls inhabiting perfected cybernetic bodies. It's definitely way out there.
And the source questioned whether this was good or bad.
Exactly. Pose the question, is this a diabolical idea or a divine decree? It explored the potential temptation, the promise of eternal life, perfect sensations, no more pain in bodies that can be repaired or upgraded forever.
What would you trade for that kind of perfection? That's a heavy thought.
It really is. It digs into what identity even means.
And wasn't there a personal reflection from the source speaker in all this?
Yes, about feeling like they've lived in a game or an illusion since childhood, even before computer simulations were a thing.
Like The Matrix, but as a personal feeling?
Sort of, yeah. If our world is like a game, it makes you reconsider everything: free will, purpose, what real happiness even is.
Definitely a lot to chew on there. Okay, before we finish, there were a few other specific points mentioned, right? Kind of miscellaneous insights.
A couple of distinct things. One was about Poland's gold reserves.
Yeah, yes, in the National Bank.
What was the verdict? Safe. Protected by some kind of legal clause or document that means governments can only add to it. They can't decrease its value. So, reassurance on that front.
Good to know. What else? Something about borders.
Yeah, a very stark one. Just stated, borders in Poland will be permanently closed.
Permanently closed, with no explanation.
None offered. Just that statement leaves you wondering, is it conflict? Economic reasons? Health? Who knows? Very mysterious.
Definitely leaves room for speculation. And safe places during turmoil.
The source mentioned a few. Said Bulgaria would be safer than Cyprus. Also listed Italy, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Austria, and Corsica as places that will see peace.
Interesting list. A potential map for turbulent times, maybe?
Perhaps regions less affected by those economic shifts or other issues predicted.
And finally, just quickly, the weather for the rest of the summer, after all that rain talk.
Yeah, the outlook was, after this current low-pressure system passes, the one that was needed for the rivers, we'll see warmer, drier weather returning. And the prediction was for a prolonged summer stretching well into September.
Something to look forward to, maybe.
Absolutely. So, when you look back at everything covered in this session, It's quite a range, isn't it?
It really is.
From immediate events that seem to check out to these huge long-term shifts in society, technology, even philosophy.
Mm.
And it all seems to kind of connect, painting this unique picture.
Yeah, the economic stuff leading to AI acceleration, leading to changes in governance, even changes in what it means to be human. It's a complex web.
Exactly.
So the final thought we want to leave you, the listener, with is this. If our experience is becoming more influenced, more mediated, maybe even, as the source suggests, artificially happy, what does authentic joy actually mean? How much of our contentment is truly ours, and how much might be shaped? It's definitely something to think about as we all try to navigate what looks like an increasingly complex future, where maybe the lines between real and perceived get, well, pretty blurry.
The very deep thought to end on.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon to unpack more.